Okay, this is the 100 bird sporting clays event tutorial. So once you've created your tournament, you come to add event. And let's say we're going to call this, well, let's call it the main event. And it is, if you're going to have multiple events, I give you, for instance, if you're going to do a sub gauge and you're going to color code your scorecards, this is where you can indicate the color of the cards. It's entirely optional and it's just for your own use. This is an event by itself. I'm going to cover, if you were doing a 200 bird main event, which I was covered in a separate tutorial, then you would be making a change here, and we'll cover that at another time. But we're just doing a 100 bird event. We're going to call it the main event. It is type sporting. I have many different event types. In this case, we're just going to leave it as sporting. The score results, this is whether we're going to break out the high score from a class and move it to the top. We have a choice of HOA then first in class, breaking out HOA runner-up, HOA runner-up third, or just leaving everything in class. I'm gonna break out an HOA, so I'm gonna leave it there. If you are doing a charity shoot or a fun shoot and you want to do Lewis class scoring, this has nothing to do with Lewis class options for NSCA. This only has to do for Lewis classes for a charity or fun shoot event. So it really doesn't matter. We don't have to do anything with this. This is going to be for an NSCA event. If it was not, I would just do no. So I'm going to do yes. We're going to report to NSCA. Allowing teams is if we're going to do like if a team charity shoot, then we would indicate that we're to allow teams. And here we indicate our target count. It's going to be 100 targets. And we're going to have a 12-station course. It's going to ask us the duration. If you're not going to be squatting it, then the duration is not so important because iClays will tell the shooter on the sign-up page if his event conflicts with another event. So if you're going to have multiple events, and let's say a person picks the 9 o'clock sporting clays rotation, if he tries to shoot something else at a 10 o'clock at that time, it'll tell him that that there's a conflict and he can't shoot both of those events. So if you're going to have multiple events or you're going to do squatting, then it's a good habit to get into of putting a duration. So I put a duration on everything, even when I'm going to be doing European rotation, just to keep in the habit of getting the correct amount of times on events. So I'm going to put a 90-minute duration. And in this case, I'm not going to be requiring a deposit, so I'll leave that alone. And if this is entirely optional, I can put a event description. I'm just going to leave it blank, and I'm going to submit this. So now I have a main event. Now I need to edit that event next because you can't sign up for it until it has some pricing. So you'll see that by default, there is a free entry. You want to leave this here. Do not change this price. Free is a category, and it's only available to the club. So you can put somebody in free. It's also available to the system. For instance, if you had an Ironman type event that includes entry in multiple events, it's important to have the free in there. A person can never sign up with a free category. Only you can assign them free. So you need to create a pricing. So we're going to click the Add Pricing button. And this is an NSCA shoot, so I'm going to use NSCA entrant, and I'm going to say that entry fee is $50. Now, NSCA entrant is a type is a pricing type that is only made available to NSCA members. So if a person comes to the sign-up page and indicates that they are a hunter, they will not have a price option available to them. They would go to the price selection box, and they basically wouldn't be able to sign up because nothing's available to them. So we have to remember to add a hunter class pricing as well. So, and by current NSCA rules, the hunter's price must be the same as the NSCA price. Okay, so we have an NSCA and we have a hunter entrant. I'll cover a couple other things on pricing. Let's say for instance, you wanted to have a junior discount or a senior discount. You have a variety of different, like for instance, I have sub-junior no frills. You say you wanted to have a no frills entry for $40. I can add that. So there's a lot that we can do in pricing. If you want to offer NSCA options on this event, then we go to Add Options, and these are the different option types that we offer. By default, These are the ones that most clubs use, and only the ones that have a price get created. So if I put a handicap option in, I'll have a handicap option. If I don't put anything there, I will not have it. So if I don't want to offer concurrent, I take concurrent and lady out. And if I'm only going to offer class and Lewis, then I just leave it. And if I'm going to have $10 pricing, that's fine. If I want to add a $20 HOA, and this indicates the depth that it's going to pay. Obviously, HOA only pays one place. If you pick two places in class, it will automatically calculate as a 60-40 split. It automatically has its own system of breaking down whether you're going to indicate a 3, 4, or 5, or 6, however many places you indicate. It has a tiered system where it pays everything out gradually lower amounts depending on the depth of the field that you choose here. You have an extra option under Lewis for the number of Lewis classes. So in this particular case, there would be 2 Lewis classes, and within each class we will pay 2 places. Now, these you probably never need to change unless you want to do something on the way in which money is paid. I will give you the example. The reason I call it trophy and share is, let's say we have a tie for first place. We do not cut the trophy in half and send each person home with half of the trophy. So trophy mode means it all goes to one person and the other one gets absolutely nothing. Share mode means it splits. Now, most of the time, people they split the money on ties. So if you decide to pay, let's say we're paying one place and we have 2 or 3 people tie, it will split the money evenly amongst them in the share mode. So that's the difference between share and trophy. I recommend, if you don't understand it or not sure, just leave them alone. This is the standard configuration that most people will use, and I can just submit, and now I have my $20 HOA option, $10 class, $10 Lewis. If we were going to do a squatted event, then we will add a rotation, and I'm going to do that. If you're doing European rotation, this event is completely done and you can stop now. Okay, continuing on, if you're going to add a rotation, we're going to pick a time. So let's say that this is, we're going to do Saturday, 9 a.m. Now, you'll notice that by default it says 72. It is assuming that you will squad 6 persons on the 12 stations that we indicated that this was a 12-station course. If you want to limit that to 60 because you only want 5-man squads, then you can just change the shooter limit here, or you can change it later. So I'll put it back to 72 and show you how we do that. And you really don't need to change anything in this pull down for a 100 bird event. This really applies to multiple courses in this rotation. You can just leave this alone and submit it, and we now have now you'll see we have a 9 a.m. Saturday rotation limited to 72 shooters. We can change our shooter limit here, and we also have a thing called hold slots. Now, what hold slots are, when we have a limit of 60 shooters. So if you went to the sign-up page right now, it would show the shooter that there are 55 slots available because it is holding 5 in reserve for you. So if you have any VIPs, or you have, it gives you some leeway to get people in if things get tight at the end and you're filling up a rotation. If you're not concerned about that, you just change hold slots to 0. You don't have to click save. It automatically changes when you change it here. And you are done with the 9 o'clock rotation. I can add another rotation if I want to have one at noon. And you always use the format with as you can see right here, we have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So you use the day abbreviated as such, and then you put the time. So we're going to do 12 p.m., which is our 12 o'clock time. So now we have a 9 o'clock flight and a 12 o'clock flight. I'm going to limit that also to 60 shooters and eliminate the hold slots. People can sign up. This event is completely ready to go. So if I click on events, I'll come back. I see I have a 100 bird sporting event. If I go to the sign up page, I'll show you what that now looks like to a shooter. He signs up. You'll see that I am actually logged in as the club. So you'll see that it is offering that I can put this shooter in as free. If a person came in the general public, they would only see the NSCA entrant or the sub-junior no frills. So I will select NSCA entrant, indicate that I want a HOA option, pick whichever rotation that I want to be in, and submit it. So that is how we set up an event. This is the end of the 100